Hello, everybody. This is Philipp Druzhinin from Moscow. It's 5th of April 2018. Today we got many pictures. And first, probably start with checking sound. Yes, we have it. Everybody, hello. So, let's see. So we're probably gonna start with this picture that was shared by Sinatis from Turkey. He was showing the Tekfur Palace or the Palace of Tekfur, Black Palace in Istanbul in different times. It was remained from Byzantine period or so they say, and it looks like it was excavated from the mud and probably restored. So this is how it looks. So this is a very good example of giving such proof, and I encourage you guys to have such an experience of maybe seeing some old photos and picturing the new one, the new view, the current view. So it would be nice to see how it changed, because we don't see much uh, examples of this now then pictures, so it would be good. Also, we have this picture posted by my friend Lo Belver from Catalonia, Barcelona. And so he's shown us the view of execution, probably in France. Looks like it's in France or maybe somewhere else. And look at the size of those guys. They look a lot bigger than this small soldier and the rest of the people, rest of the crowd. And the beheaded person was also pretty big, but not as big as those execution team. So this is very good picture, proving that giants were actually existing and probably people were controlled with the people with the taller size and something like this. So what I was wanted to show you is the video I've been watching today about evidence of the mud flood in 19th century, which is called Buried Kremlin Part 1. So probably this guy gonna have a second part very soon. And I promise I'll finally walk to the Kremlin, inside the Kremlin, and walk around and try to picture some evidence there. It's probably gonna be a couple of weeks from this day, because we still have pretty bad weather, but it looks like spring is still coming, and a couple of weeks we will do a good job in weather, and so we can walk around there. Okay, this is the picture of which was dated 1852. It's a view from the tower of Ivan the Great, and this tower has a huge bell, and it's used. It's right in the middle of the Kremlin. I'll probably go there and picture it. So this is the view from this tower. It looks like to the west, and we have a better view in this picture, which is zoomed. And we can, let's start with this lower left angle. We see these signs of construction here in the left angle below, and we see something wrong with this window in the center part, and maybe it's too hot and it's closed by something, but it looks for me that's no window here, and it's totally closed with some wood or something. And so it's not the morning because I know this place and it's looking towards the east. So probably the sun is at the southwest or south at least. And we see the shadows straight from that direction. So also we watch here, we see this house, which is inside the Kremlin and it looks totally buried with this mud. As you can see, the first floor is buried and we see this evidence of some plaque or something, or maybe dirt here on the walls. It looks like signs of some flooding too. Maybe, but this is not actual proof. But if we look here, we see more of this mess on the walls, and they don't look very tall as they are right now because right now we see this level is descending over here, and everything looks muddy. There's some dirt here, pile of dirt and something, so it doesn't look very good as the Kremlin, inside the Kremlin right now. Right now it's totally clean and it looks perfect, and that this time is probably messy, too messy for the Kremlin. Also, we have this archive here with those pictures. I wanted to show you a couple of them. Um, let's see. If we look in this picture, we can see also this is probably the same angle, but to the right, a little bit to the right, closer to the Moscow River. And we see also this is all buried inside the Kremlin, like it's a whole bunch of dirt here, a whole bunch of mud. So, and the towers also look pathetic. This is the view to the river. Well, there's a bunch of details here, but we don't want to stop on these details because it's concerning architecture and stuff like this. So it's not a very good idea right now. Also, this is a panoramic view, and this picture is very, let's see, this is the one. First, look at this things. It's like cable canal or cable channels or some electric net or illumination net, and also the walls look very messed with all these trees on the walls. Like this is not very good for the walls when you see trees growing on them. So probably nobody they took care of. This is just was buried with some mud and the trees were growing, something like this. So this is probably something, and also we see it on this wall. So this nets on the electric looks like a electric net, something like this. Okay. And this is the picture of 1908. And this also proves that Moscow was flooded a bunch of times, and it looks totally flooded. If you look, this is probably the same panoramic view, but not so wide, on the same side of the river, and it looks like very flooded. Okay, this is a closer view. So just imagine how much water was rising, and that's probably this place is not very buried right now because water flushed all this mud away, and probably this is the post strikes of that older flood that was occurring in the 19th century, post effect flood, whatever you call it. And my grandparents told me there were a bunch of flooding in the past, in the 50s and 60s, so it was not like a very unusual thing. It was an ordinary thing for that time. So not now flooding is very, very extreme, and the people just don't know what to do. Just imagine how those people acted. They just couldn't walk out of their houses or whatever. Just no electricity, nothing. Okay, and let's return to this archive here. Also, many pictures showing everything is dirty and no people anywhere. But we see still some pictures with people. So the description of this thing that there is no people. When you see, when you hear about the picture type of explanation, when so photographs were old and they didn't have all this exposure time, so they had this long exposure, so nobody was pictured. So this is not very good because we see some pictures with people and they're standing and you can look at them. Okay, so also another picture showing the inside of Kremlin here, and outside is still very pathetic. Look at this mud everywhere here. Looks like it is just all messed up, and probably mud was flushed by the river, and that's the reason why we see no mud in the river zone, because it was washed away plenty of times. And inside of Kremlin is still very messy. Looks like walls were not um, no care about the walls, so probably no household activities or whatever reconstruction. And looked at the walls were colored in white color, but they look very pathetic. Also, they see this reconstruction of this building, which is 1884, so probably 50 years after the flood. And they see some explanations about why it was done this way, but we see clear the rise of the level towards the house. So probably this was just pushed pressed away from the house, and that's why we see this level here, and it's all dirty on still old and all dirty here. And look at this, we see horses, we see some cabs, we see shadows of them, so probably you could have been picturing people at that time. So no explanation about no shadows, pictures with no shadows, no people at the daytime. This is not a good explanation. So let's see, this is another building here, which was demolished in 1870s, and probably was demolished because it was an old type of uh, spire building. I don't have any other explanation. So all the spires were demolished, as you can see. Also, many churches here are now demolished. We don't see them anymore. And look at this. So people could be pictured, as you can see. If they were moving, they were showing shadows. If they were standing, pretty much still, they were pictured, just as you see here. And this is 1858, so probably the same type of technology as those pictures. They don't have any people here, like here. No people at the daytime, and here, as we can see, plenty of people. And here we can see people. But we see a bunch of reconstruction everywhere. Look at this material, just stockpiles of material. And this guy on the horse, probably getting all this, whatever they use, the bricks or the wood, something like this. Okay, let's see. Also 70s, so probably 30 years after the flood. We still see the walls are still dirty down below. So probably it was so bad for the walls that they could have been restored easily. And this is this picture of Polytechnical Museum. This is the first building here. Okay, let's see. This is the second building. As we've seen this picture before, I've been showing it. We see basements below the current level of the ground for like 5 to 10 meters somewhere, and we see these foundations. So this is the second building, and it was built before or after this one. After this one. So if this is really 1877, then this newer building that we see here was built on the ruins of the old one, which is not yet constructed. So that's why we don't see it on this picture. Or something is wrong with this picture and it's dating. Who knows? So still 1860s, 1870s, we see plenty of dust, mud everywhere. It doesn't look like very much inhabited city. Oh, it looks like just a junk, you know, not like a second or ancient capital, the hugest town at that time. Okay, what else did I want to show you? There's flood in here. And also this area, this is right now sometimes excavated, we see many evidence of presence the building below. Ancient basements, ancient constructions everywhere. Huge, enormous size. Arcs of something and stuff like this. Okay. See this arc here near the car. It's close with this trash. So this is all near the Kremlin, and I've been collecting many of pictures of so-called Kitai-Gorod or Chinatown because it's close to my office, and Kremlin is like 3 kilometers from my office, maybe 2.5 kilometers. So I'll be probably walking to there at my lunchtime and picturing more evidence in a couple of weeks from now. Okay, and also this is many pictures, probably you've seen some of them, and they all look pathetic. Those walls look pathetic, so probably they were severely damaged by the flood, and the state couldn't even pay for a decent reconstruction till the Soviets came in, because Soviets made Kremlin their icon again, make Kremlin great again, you know. Okay, let's see if we have any questions. Oh, how many people came? Shitty weather here in Canada too. Everywhere is shitty weather. Each time we have new year, we have new shitty weather. Probably this year we're gonna have a lot more shittier than the year before. Okay, really cool photos. Thanks a lot. Does anyone here attend the Orthodox Church? You know, Orthodox, it's really described as the old believers, old so-called right believers, you know, old right believers. So if you're an old right believer, You're probably the one that was pre-flood believer, and so you don't have to go to any church because those people had churches as a power station, as their the place of charging their bodies, their batteries, or whatever. They had the wireless system inside the home. So probably they were not used for what we know as a church right now. Has anyone been in the Roman catacombs? Probably we have more pictures of that because we've seen many archives of Roman catacombs and Roman cleaning up and Roman excavations. So if you have any evidence of this now and then pictures, probably send them to me. We'll have a good review of them pretty much soon. So if you have no questions, be beautiful in Florida. I know Florida is fine, but you had some shitty years also. So good for you, at least, Philip. Nice to be seeing you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for attending this meeting. See you later. Bye.